As I feared, our king died this afternoon from an unknown illness. In his stead, Tribuana became Queen Regent. Her first act as queen was to retire the Prime Minister and give his position to me. Without hesitation, I swore an oath in front of everyone. I would not indulge in any pleasures until I had conquered the entire Indonesian archipelago for the glory of the Majapahit.
I am sending colonists to the nearby islands. If you can protect them from our enemies, they can provide you with resources.
Well. That is one interesting way of making an impact as the new Prime Minister. The late king, bless his name, did not leave us with much land or resources. Our empire, at this point, is merely just half of Java Island, which we also share with Sunda. The Sunda are weaker than us, starting in the feudal age, but they are proud fighters, as later missions will prove. Contrary to what it says in the hints, they are not just tame little buffaloes but will actually attack without provocation. Sunda is just biding their time for now until they can catch up with us technologically. Don't trust them, Gajah Mada. We have two other rivals which are far ahead of us technologically. Both Dharmasraya and Temmmasik are in the Imperial Age, and field advanced armies and navies. Dharmasraya is more likely out of the two to attack our base, sending warships, fireships, arbalests, and ballista elephants. Their landings are potent, but crucially lack the ability to penetrate stone. Castles stop their push stone cold, and harbors on the shoreline will intercept their ships to stop amphibious landings. Given our sad economic situation, and Dharmasraya's lack of siege, it is advisable not to meet their fleets and armies head-on but to concentrate on defenses until we catch up.
Our villagers are setting up a colony on Bali.
Bali is the first of 4 colonist allies expanding the Majapahit Empire. It is geographically remote, situated behind us, and away from all enemies. Therefore Bali does not usually need any defending, as the only way our enemies can get to it is if they wrest control of our waters and secure a path for a landing. Gajah Mada will eat a bug before letting such travesties happen. The ancient nation of Singapore, Temmmasik, hates our colony expansion project. They intend aggression towards these helpless settlers, who don't even train any troops, and intend to use their advanced ships and weapons to burn their town centers down. As Temmmasik usually targets them rather than us, defeating them is optional. Most prime ministers will ignore Temmmasik and let the colonists burn. But Gajah Mada is a responsible prime minister, and will make their security a priority. Unfortunately, this means we just added one very dangerous enemy. Temmmasik is stronger than Dharmasraya, and punish turtle strategies with their powerful cannon galleons, which outrange castles. They have to be fought navy to navy, with our ships intercepting their cannon galleons before they take down our castle. Easier said than done, however. Their navy is stronger than us with a large head start, and Temmmasik can easily destroy a castle before we even notice they are attacking. This is such a big map with a lot to focus on. We will try our best, but no promises. As our starting funds are quite small, we don't have enough to even keep our town center and docks working at full capacity, much less build a strong navy. Therefore our production has quite a bit of idle time, with awkward gaps and pauses. We will try to concentrate on fish as our primary food source while using villagers to gather wood to build fishing ships. Once we have a bit of surplus, we will quickly shift our attention to stone, so that we can construct proper defenses. As our starting island of Java is super cramped and honest truth, overpopulated, Gajah Mada is going to make a transport ship to personally join the colonies, with our own villagers. Expanding gives us access to more stone and gold on the map, even if some might say this is stealing from our allies. Our allies are just going to waste all that stone on useless towers, however. It might as well go to us, so that we can do a better job protecting them.
Settlers have arrived in Sulawesi.
Sulawesi, like Bali, is also on the far side of the map, so it is usually safe from raids. They also cover a big sea area, giving us excellent fishing opportunities, once the regular spots in Java and Bali are exhausted. To save wood, we don't plan to use fish traps and just rely on nature's bounties. This does mean that the Malay bonus to fish traps will not come into play, but we should play to the position, not force-fit a particular strategy. Our villagers have just landed in South Borneo, a few minutes ahead of our soon-to-arrive colonist allies. This is an important expedition, as our galley has scouted some Temmmasik fortifications already on this island, which means they have a base here. Therefore, the South Borneans don't realize they are walking into a death trap, as Temmmasik plans to ambush them with imperial soldiers before they even complete a town center. It is a disaster waiting to happen, so our villagers have hastened here to build walls to prevent it. We are also going to move some villagers to Sulawesi, where there are stone deposits. Sulawesi has 2 stone areas, and they usually mine the northern one, so they won't complain about us taking the southern ore. Stone is an important part of Gajah Mada's grand plan, and we have some strategic spots for castles in mind already. Our scouting was pretty extensive, so we also know there is no northern passage around Borneo, meaning that Temmmasik ships have to pass this strait. A castle positioned behind these walls will stop not just Temmmasik's army, but also their navy, from attacking South Borneo. We have built it several tiles deeper inland, to deter Temmmasik from trying to blow it up with demolition ships. This comes at a slight trade-off of losing some range over the water. Our villager just found a second path through the middle of Borneo, which our ships were unable to scout. This narrow passage going through the mountains is a potential gap in our walls, allowing the Temmmasik raiders access to South Borneo even if we blocked the main pass with our walls and castle. Therefore, we will drop an outpost and tower here, plugging the gap and ensuring we have no holes. The problem with walls is all you need is a single hole to make an entire base compromised. Checking all angles is needed.
Apa syasananya, Baginda? Siap. Aku pemangun gedung. Iya. Aku penggali tambang. Apa syasananya, Baginda? Aku panumbang kayu.
Iya.
Aku penggali tambang. Aku panumbang. Aku marwat. Aku pemangun gedung.
We have delayed mining gold for long as defenses take priority over building ships or army, but ultimately, stone structures don't move and cannot win us the mission on their own.
Siap. Swasti.
Aku panumbang kayu.
Majapahit people are trying to set up a colony in southern Borneo.
Siap. Aku penumpang kayu.
Siap.
The South Borneans have just arrived, and no worries, this island is huge and there is plenty of room for both of us. Time to island hop to Bali now, as a premier tourist destination, fishing lake, and stone gathering opportunity. Dharmas Raya doesn't like the new castle we just built, but they can't do anything about it.
Swasti. Aku pemangun gedung. Siap. Swasti. Aku pemangun gedung.
Our fishing ships will start diversifying towards the new docks we just built. Spreading out the fish improves collection rates by reducing traffic, while also ensuring wild fish supplies don't run out as quickly.
Apa sasananya, Baginda? Siap. Siap.
Blacksmith and university are key buildings to research critical techs. Ballistics lets our castles and harbors aim better, heated shot makes them lethal to ships, and Bodkin arrow improves overall damage. Also not forgetting murder holes, as our enemies like to sit in the minimum range of our fortifications.
Ear.
Swasti. Siap.
Tower on the shoreline protects not just from Sunda, but also deters naval incursions by the enemy. Although we haven't built anything in the middle yet, so theoretically Sunda can just walk right in. But they aren't usually very aggressive in the early game. We should still keep in mind the potential for a big Sunda raid, as most of our villagers work outside Majapahit walls, not inside. In fact, there is no one in our cramped base.
Apa sasananya panumbang kayu?
Akan penumbang kayu.
A new expedition is being planned to Sulawesi, this time to diversify our wood sources, and relocate even more fishing ships away from Java, which is probably going to be attacked very soon.
Iya. Siap. 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 Aku penumpang kayu.
Tamasik is testing our castle with our few galleys, but they aren't pushing with cannon galleons.
Iya, Baginda.
Yet.
Aku pengerti.
We should make some navy before they do.
Siap.
Swasti. Aku pemangun gedung. Aku pemangun gedung.
The first real enemy push just started from Dharmasraya. They have a lot of ships, but fortunately, we are ready with a fully garrisoned tower. Unfortunately, heated shot is not researched yet but might still come into play mid-engagement. We will punish Dharmasraya for this raid. The focused fire from Dharmasraya warships is quickly depleting the HP on our tower. We will repair it with villagers, but Dharmasraya might start targeting them, too.
Sia, apa sasananya Baginda? Aku penggali tambang. Iya.
Apa sasananya Baginda? Maruatnya. Siap. Aku penggali tambang. Iya. Siap. Siap.
Siap. Iya, aku panumbang kayu. Apa sasananya Baginda?
Siap. Siap.
But the arrival of our warships saves our tower. Heated shot has also just completed, repelling the push by Dharmasraya.
Siap. Swasti. Siap.
The stone just ran out in southern Sulawesi. Instead of relocating north, we are transitioning to chopping wood. Wood is going up our list of priorities, as we need ships now. Dharmasraya is cheekily landing on South Borneo with ballista elephants, but they come face to face with the castle. Meanwhile, the armies of Tamasik try to join in, but find themselves walled out. We need to rush research the Thassalakrishi tech, so that landings don't happen again. This technology upgrades our docks into harbors, allowing them to shoot down any transport ships that get close. The fact that docks cost only wood, not stone, saves us the precious material for castles later. Castles are more valuable than towers, as they have more HP, more damage, and can train trebuchets in our unique unit, the Karambit warrior. All this is expected to come in useful later on in this campaign.
Our settlers have reached northern Borneo.
But Dharmasraya is not making it easy to get harbors up, as they send warships to target our builders. We are getting pushed off by sheer numbers, but this also brings Dharmasraya's fleet into the firing range of our castle, so they just signed their death warrant. Even outnumbered, our fire ships will win because they are fighting in our turf. We will get those docks up whether Dharmasraya likes it or not.
Siap.
Aku pemangun
Swasti.
gedung.
Apa sasananya, Baginda? Siap. Swasti.
Siap.
As planned earlier, some of our fishing ships will relocate to Sulawesi Island, with some fresh, pristine new fishing spots.
Baginda, aku penumpang kayu.
Without a safe landing route in southern Borneo, Dharmasraya is forced to push us from outside in. But they will soon realize this is futile.
Siap.
Apa syasananya, Baginda? Swasti. Siap. Apa syasananya, Baginda? Swasti. Aku pengerti. Aku pemangun gedung.
Our defenses have gained us the time to safely research the Imperial Age. Once we equalize in technology, we can finally take the initiative and ask Dharmasraya and Masik our own questions.
Iya. Siap. Aku panggali tambang.
While we age up, it's also time to deal with Sunda.
Swasti.
Swasti. Siap.
Apa syasananya, pemangun gedung?
They plan to attack us anyway, so we will preemptively break our unspoken truce first. For now we won't target their villagers collecting resources close to us. We will only do that once we have battering rams ready. Our colonies are rewarding us for protection by sending tribute. Very appreciated, this will go a long way. Sunda, realizing we have just positioned a castle between us, breaks the peace treaty before we were able to break it ourselves. Damn it, we can't even betray them fast enough.
Iya, aku marwat.
The Sunda are proud fighters, but they have more spirit than money. Ultimately they control just a very cramped half of Java, so they will lack gold, whereas Gajah Mada has already expanded to multiple islands. Sunda's army of elephants and knights look scary, but they cannot afford to train more fighters. Food seems to be hard to come by, despite all the fishing we're doing. Oh well, time to play the market. Dermazrao's towers have heated shot, just like ours. It's unwise to brute force them down with ships, as you have already seen what happens when they tried it on us. We will instead research cannon galleons, so we can pick off towers from a safe distance. As Sunda attacked us first, we no longer need to play nice with them. All of them will die, and their right to existence has been terminated. We will release our battering rams, and our pack of Karambit warriors, on Sunda. Karambit warriors have lousy stats, but they still count as infantry, so if we garrison them in rams, it boosts ram damage output and movement speed all the same. They also train very quickly, so within moments of spamming from the castle, there will be a horde of them on the field, slicing down unarmed villagers of Sunda.
Angkat senjata. Apa syasananya baginda? Ya. Yasaku apa syasananya baginda? Ya. Angkat senjata. Maju. Tape. Apa syasananya senjata. Tape.
The Sunda villagers try to hide in their town center, but they will find it offers scant protection against garrisoned capped rams. They could have probably dealt with those rams if they did not unwisely lose their entire cavalry force of knights and elephants charging our castle.
Ya. Maju. Apa syasananya baginda? Yasaku maju. Angkat senjata. Apa syasananya baginda? Ya. Maju. Apa syasananya baginda? Ya. Tape.
The town center down, Sunda villagers have no place to hide now, from our Karambit warriors coming out of rams to wreak havoc.
Syasananya baginda. Ya. Yasaku baginda. Angkat senjata. Sampai angkat senjata. Ya. Maju.
Dharmasraya tries to push while we are distracted by Sunda, but we have a big fleet ready for them.
Yasaku baginda. Angkat senjata. Apa syasananya baginda? Yasaku baginda.
You have defeated our armies, and we are ready to recognize your rule over Java.
Apa syasananya baginda? Aku mengerti.
Unfortunately, while we repelled the push from Dharmasraya, we forgot to check the north, where Temma 6 cannon galleon scores an undeserved easy kill, taking a whole castle just because we weren't looking at that side of the map. This is so stupid. Our ships were right there but they did nothing whatsoever. We had a fleet in front of the castle last we looked, but it's been some time and Temma 6 must have wiped them out. While we desperately rebuild our castle, Temma 6 proves to be annoying, taking advantage of our momentary lack of protection to camp our fleet there, killing the builders.
Siap.
Apa sasananya, Baginda?
Aku panumbang kayu.
But our fleet is bigger than Temma 6 and we managed to get our replacement castle up. Still, this cost us a lot of precious stone we can no longer get on the map. Grr. Sunda was able to hurt us after all even from beyond the grave. Their distraction has given so much advantage to Temma 6.
Apa sasananya, Baginda? Iya, aku pengerti. Apa sasananya, Baginda?
These villagers will be killed, for the crime of not doing anything when they could have easily repaired the castle. Building a new one is not enough to pay for their sins.
Siap. Aku pemangun gedung. Aku panumbang kayu. Apa sasananya, Baginda?
Despite the painful setback we just experienced, Gajah Mada presses on. No longer preoccupied by Sunda, we can turn our attention against the more powerful Dharmasraya, with newly commissioned elite cannon galleons.
Apa sasananya, Baginda?
Dharmasraya managed to badly damage one of them, but killed none, and lost a good chunk of their Sumatran base before we had to retreat for repairs. Their town center is gone, their towers burned down, and a lot of military production buildings as well.
Aku pengerti.
Iya, aku pamarbay. Apa sasananya, Baginda? Aku pamarbay. Iya, biasaku ka maju. Tapi, apa sasananya, Baginda? Maju.
Meanwhile, our Karambits have relocated to Borneo, where Gajah Mada will address the Temma 6 raiding base there. Temma 6 was able to push our navy back with numbers, but perhaps they will lack punch on land. Warships, by themselves, cannot deal with rams, as rams are almost immune to ranged fire.
Aku pengerti. Apa sasananya, angkat senjata. Iya, Baginda. Iya, Baginda. Biasaku ka maju. Angkat senjata. Apa sasananya?
Our guess is correct. Temma 6 land units have been slow to respond to our push, allowing our Karambits hiding in rams to bring down one tower.
Iya, aku panumbang kayu. Aku marah. Iya, aku panumbang kayu. Apa sasananya, Baginda? Biasaku ka, Baginda.
But as we ventured deeper, the Temma 6 army rallied, destroying our rams and garrisoned Karambits. After all, Karambit warriors are only light infantry, without high HP and stats, and ultimately unsuited for pitch battles.
Siap. Aku pengerti.
Apa syasananya, Baginda?
Swastinya. Aku pamar baik.
LOL. Sending ballista elephants to land won't work anymore, mister, not after we have gained control, and completely blockaded, the Sumatra-Sunda waterway.
Apa sasananya, Baginda? Siap.
Gajah Mada wants to drop a castle on Dharmasraya, but they are making valid protests against it, using about a dozen galleons.
Syasananya, Baginda.
After listening to their protests, we declined their protest and decided to build anyway.
Apa syasananya, Baginda? Aku mengerti. Angkat senjata, tapi Baginda.
But as we begin to shift our attention to Masik, Dharmasraya capitalizes on our premature fleet movement, and sends a huge army of arbalests and swordsmen to interrupt castle construction. They proved to be just a little too slow, as we were already at 97%, so our Sumatran castle just went up, and there is nothing Dharmasraya can do about it now. They do not know how to make siege weapons, not even rams, so this castle is permanently secure in a net gain of Majapahit territory. Even while we speak, fighting broke out again in Borneo, with our rams and light Karambits fighting the superior Masik army of swordsmen and cavaliers, against a backdrop of warships from both sides exchanging fire just a few meters away. And Dharmasraya making a suicidal push with ballista elephants against our forward castle.
Apa syasananya, Baginda? Angkat senjata. Maju, angkat senjata. Maju. Apa
Masik was overwhelmed on both land and water, their superior infantry overcome by the much faster training speed of Karambits. Now we have the upper hand in Borneo, and Gajah Mada should be able to wipe out Masik's base of operations, preventing any future raids and securing North Borneo for colonization. The North Bornean colonists will appreciate this very much, as their early attempts at settling have been running into Masik ambushes so far.
Apa syasananya? Angkat senjata.
Swasti. Siap. Aku penumpang kayu.
We lost a lot of villagers in our earlier castle drop, so we will need more of them for Dharmasraya. Resources seem to be good, so we can afford the hit to our economy.
Maju, apa syasananya, Baginda? Angkat senjata. Apa syasananya, Baginda?
It's a sad sight watching Dharmasraya protest our castle by suiciding valuable infantry units in front of them. Well, if they don't like one castle, how about two castles?
Aku pemangun gedung.
On the Masik front, our fleet has reached their homeland, and our cannon galleons have begun shelling. Masik tries to blow up our cannon galleons with demolition ships, but our galleons are escorting.
Swasti.
Our settlers have reached northern Borneo.
Our settlers have finally expanded to North Borneo, and Dharma's Raya has shown they cannot handle 2 castles, so how about 3? Unfortunately we are out of stone, so the market must be used. We would have been able to not use the market if only Tem Mosik did not snipe one of our castles down earlier. Tem Mosik's defenders seem to be running low on resources. Their navy, despite being very large in previous fights, is getting smaller and they were unable to push us away from their own homeland. Therefore, the shelling shall continue.
Yasa kuka baginda. Ya baginda.
While Tem Mosik has a lot of towers, elite cannon galleons outrange fortified buildings by a lot, so it can delay, but not stop Gajah Mada's fleet from advancing.
Apa syasananya baginda? Angkat senjata. Yasa kuka baginda.
We even moved some capped rams garrisoned with Karambits to this sector, so that our cannon galleons don't have to do all the work. They can batter down some of the towers and buildings. 2.
Iya.
Apa syasananya baginda?
Siap.
Swasti. Iya.
We have our 3 castles up in Sumatra, so it's time to annihilate Dharma's Raya with a good old-fashioned infantry flood. Our villagers will not be needed anymore, their resource collection unnecessary, as we don't need an economy to send off Dharma's Raya and Tem Mosik. We just need the population to spam Karambit warriors, who are space efficient anyway, taking up only half a slot each. While Dharma's Raya has lost one of their town centers and much territory, they still have a town center, a significant army, and a castle, so we need to go all in to seal this deal.
Yasa kuka baginda. Tapi Iya, angkat senjata. Yasa kuka baginda. Apa syasananya baginda? Tapi
Karambits may have low stats, but we can compensate by having a lot of them, flooding the enemy until they cannot cope with our numbers.
Yasa kuka baginda. Ya, aku mengerti. Ya, apa syasananya baginda? Apa syasananya baginda? Angkat senjata.
Well, our capped rams did not make it past the absolute clusterfuck of towers in Tem Masik. We will have to resort to elite cannon galleons.
Maju.
It's a coin toss between who will resign first, but both our strongest enemies, Dharmasraya and Tem Masik, are all but defeated. Their buildings are ruins, their armies are graves, and their ships are sunk. All that remains on either side are villagers not given an opportunity to rebuild. But it will be Dharmasraya who surrenders first. Tamazik, while all but beaten, is still trying a last-minute volley with a demolition ship, which can never work, as our attention is no longer divided between multiple enemies.
Ruled over Sumatra for centuries until you arrived. Does your greed know no bounds?
The Majapahit Empire is larger than ever before, thanks to Gajah Mada. Long live the Majapahit Empire!
It would have been nice to vanquish all three of them, but sadly, we won too quickly for that.
Even my closest friends doubted me, but I proved my worth. One by one, our mighty armies and majestic fleets conquered the surrounding islands. From Bali, the island of the gods, to the old ruins of the Srivijaya Empire, all now answer to the Majapahit Empire, just as I said they would.